Hello YouTube, welcome to this edition of Race Car Fabrication and Restoration, and welcome to 2023. We're going to start off the new year with a new little project that's going to be really cool while we are waiting on the Buick to get painted. So stay tuned, we'll tell you all about it. Well, to start off with, I'll give you an update on Ryan's Modified. You can see he has taken over the lift, which is fine. Now that the Buick is out of here, we kind of fight for the lift all the time, seems like. But he's in the process of repairing his body, and they're doing a lot of work up here on the front end, changing some stuff up. I won't get in all the top secret stuff that they're doing, but Johnny Vault is changing a lot of stuff on the geometry on the car up here, and that's pretty cool, the stuff they're doing there. You can see he's extending his nose out a little bit. I picked up a new front bumper for him over in Texas at RP Race Cars, but you can see all the workings of that. He's already has this new deck built back here, and this had gotten wiped out a couple times, just typical racing. The spoiler, obviously, that's just hinges. We got to put the spoiler over here on this side still, but decking all looks good. All this is nicely, freshly painted. He'll probably put some new quarter panels on it. I'm not sure if he'll replace his door or not, but the car wasn't in too bad shape except for this rear end back here. So that's where he's at. Now, as far as a new project we're going to start on, we got my wife's 1952 Chevrolet. You know, we've been covering that last couple episodes. I got something we're going to do really, really cool on this truck. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to letter the doors. This is real popular on these trucks to put lettering on the side of it. And we went back and forth, and I kind of decided I wanted to put something to commemorate our family and how long we've been racing. So we're going to put Humphrey Speed Shop on the door. It's going to have Humphrey Speed Shop, and it's going to say established 1975, which is the first year that we raced. Then my brother actually built his first race car engine in 1973 when he's a senior in high school. He's built countless motors since then. So anyway, to honor that, we're going to put Humphrey Speed Shop, Saline, Louisiana, established 1975 on the door. Now, it's really hard to try to get this to make it look aged. My wife wants it to look aged. I got a friend of mine, my son-in-law, who does decals, a friend of ours, Sean Graham, over here with Hitman Designs. He's already got the decals made, so that'll be coming up here in the next couple of episodes, getting that done. But that's not the coolest part. Let me show you the coolest part here in just a second. All right, I've done a good bit of work to this little truck since we've had gotten it. It's only been here for about 3 weeks now, but swapped out the tailgate. I should have done a video on that. That was a pretty intense job. We had a tailgate here that has Chevrolet across the back of it. My wife wanted to swap it out. It came with the truck, so it wasn't too bad, except it was a little bit wider than the other one, so I had to do a little fabrication on that. But nonetheless, that's done. And also added these chains in here now. They had some nylon straps holding them. I went back, let's put some chain on it, so now that works. And got to put the little latches on there. This is all they were using beforehand, but just, so it's not a $100,000 show truck, but you know, it's just, we wanted something as a daily driver. Put the toolbox in there, got a jack in there now. Still have to come up with a spare tire. And I've got the door. It still needs to be sanded here on the bottom. You see where it's shiny right there. And I've done the whole rest of the truck. We're just blacking it out just with flat black. Still have to put some flat black up there on the sun visor we put on. But what I thought would be so cool, if we get the Humphrey Speed Shop on the door right there, how cool would it be? This is my wind blowing away here, what you're seeing. We had a real bad storm tonight, so I'm in there trying to fix it. But I thought it'd be so cool. So what if we had a motor to put in the back of this truck and put on the bottom of the door free delivery there? So we got Humphrey Speed Shop, established 1975, free delivery. And I want it to look like this truck is carrying a motor around, so it'll be permanently displayed here in the back of the truck. I said, that would be so cool. Well, I called some friends of mine to do all the machine work for us and stuff, and I came up with these parts. I had a block already, and I got, this is not no strange option. We're just going to have 3 heads on it. I'm going to make two, one set of heads out of this, but we've got 3 aluminum heads. I've got this block here. It's actually a good racing block, but I've been trying to sell it. I couldn't sell it, and we use it here to set in motors, so I'm just going to use it, or set it in cars rather, when we're trying to line stuff up. So I'm just going to use it. I can get another block anytime. My brother had a chrome valve cover and a water pump there. I got this oil pan, real nice. This was a high-dollar crank at one time. You can see what's left of a rod on there, H-beam rod still on there, and that is pretty nice crank. But what I'm actually going to do, I want this thing to be as light as possible. We're going to cut the crank, we're going to cut the center out of it, just past where the first main bearing is in a rear main bearing. My brother suggested maybe leaving the counterweights on there, and that'll leave so the crank can't move. Because we're actually put a hydraulic bouncer on the thing. I'm going to put pulleys, and it's going to look real. The coolest thing is this Hill-born injection system. This is an old, like late 60s, early 70s injector system. Been looking all over the internet. I found a guy in Iowa that has a set of tubes. We're paying for those today and have those sent to us. But it's going to be an injected small block. Even got a couple old mags that no longer work. I got to come up with a cap and wires. But this is going to be so cool sitting in the back of that truck. And obviously the reason I'm trying to lighten it up as much as I can, so it won't be too heavy on the truck. And the truck's actually got airbags on the back of it. And the air shocks and it's got overload airbags. And so I'm actually may stiffen that up just a little bit, but it is really, really going to be cool to have this motor, and we'll paint everything up real nice. Now here's a project for today. After all that, in order to make the thing look really, really sexy, this is a set of Zoomies, like a dragster would have back in the day. We're going to see if we can put these things together. So I've got an idea in my head how I think to do it. I've never built a set of headers before, so it's going to be a first for both of us. So hang in there. Let's see if we can get this thing figured out. All right, the first thing I've done here is I've separated these tubes by different lengths, and you would not realize, or you wouldn't think, that there'd be actual different lengths. So there's no instructions with the kit, so I've got to try to wing this. I did make this little mount here. I use these 2x4s, and that's going to be the right height for them to sit on. So it's just using 2 2x4s and 1 4x4. So we've got to figure out what the order is and get the angle. So try to see if we can get these things put up here and figure that out. Well, that was kind of like playing a shell game. I finally figured out the position of them, I think, because you want them to be the same height that direction, and getting the angle correct. These were already pre-cut, these brackets here, so I'm kind of using that as an angle finder, and that kind of gets it. Actually, I need to lean back even a little bit more, but now we're even across the top. And I know this is very, very unorthodox. The one thing I can tell you, we've got to beat these in to get them to go in, because either you won't be able to get your bolts in. So these won't be flattened. We'll just do that with a Mr. Ball Peen. So we'll keep on rolling here, but I think that's correct order. And I'm going to mark them, and then we'll know what to do here next for this other side. All right, show you how high tech I am. I'm pretty confident on these angle now and on the height. As you can see, they're all even now. And in order to get the spacing correct on the front and back, I made this high-tech piece of wood, and that'll get up front and back. These two will locate themselves. So then, like I say, going off this angle they supply us, we're pretty close there. Now, we're trying to put a round peg in a square hole here, so we will have to beat. So See, that's round. The exhaust port is rectangular or square, whatever you want to call it. So we will mark the back of each of these tubes. That will determine the center point. Then we'll just beat it flat. Now, I'm not sure. I'm sure they probably have some type of mandrel piece die that they can maybe squeeze this to where it goes in there. I don't know. But this is just for a display motor. So we're just going to squeeze it to get it to where it fits, and I'll weld it up. And then when you put that bar across there, they actually got 4 bars for inside and outside. They're not going to go anywhere. And now I wouldn't want to go 330 miles an hour with them on John Force's car, but I think this will be good enough. So let's get these marked, see if we can get them beat up. All right, we're going to use a red marker here and just lightly mark these. So we're not building a spaceship here, but if I ever did want to try to sell them, you know, down the road, I do want them to make them where they're, here, we'll mark both sides. I do want to make them where they're usable. I mean, that'd be nice. Everybody kids at me around here saying everything's for sale. It is. If you want it, it can be bought. Everything I have has a price tag. Okay, let's see if we can get these beat into submission here. All right, we got our trusty vise here and our trusty ball peen hammer. I got these marked. So we'll get our red mark about halfway down. I'm sure John Force is doing it this way right now in his shop, getting ready for the new season. Okay, voila. See how that is shaped? So we'll go try this and see how it works. All right, we'll set this up here, get our spacing right, and get our bottom in position. All right, now our tube and spacing is correct, and I can get a bolt in each one of those now. I'm actually going to mark this and actually bring this down just a hair. I need just a little more right there, so let's mark that. Right there, and that should work. Okay, I've got these laid out 1, 2, 3, 4. I marked them in a mark slot, and let's see if I can keep doing this. So I got my spacing right on this first one, and these here all got to be taken. But I've got this where I want it here on the bottom, so we're gonna go ahead and try to tack it real gently. Now mash it down, make sure it's square to the flange here. One tack. That's 2 tacks. And I think that's all we're going to put on that one. So we'll beat these other 3, get them in the same place, and we'll get our spacing right, and we'll tack them, then we'll see where we go from there. I don't know where. This is uncharted water for me, so let's do that next. All right, there you go. If you was paying close attention, you notice I had to grind one off, even though I had a mark 1, 2, 3, 4. Somehow I got the 4th one in the 3rd spot. So that's why you just tack stuff off. So tack stuff first. See, now we're perfectly lined up. That looks really good. How about that? I've never built these before. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple more welds on here, just so they don't go anywhere. And then I may try to weld one side of it up here, but that's pretty cool. Very happy. All right. Get the camera down and let you get a little closer look at this. I'm pretty pleased. Well, to say I'm pleased is an understatement. And they're all in the right order this time. But tell you what, I'm pretty proud of my welding. Looks pretty good to be blind. How about that? Stitch welding is a way to do stuff like this. Makes it look a whole lot prettier. There's still just as strong for what we're doing. Got to buff off a couple places right here where I had that wire. Woo, that's still hot, ain't it? But anyway, there you go. That's one set done, one side. And got to clean some of that up in there. But again, this for what its purpose is serving, this will be fine. Tickled to death. So we'll get started on this other side now. Well, I gotta tell you something pretty funny. You know me, I try to think things out in advance, but I was laying a second header up here and I was making sure they were exactly alike, and I almost built two headers for the same side. So I said, wait a minute, yeah, one's gotta be going one way, one's gotta be going the other. So I took this one here now and laid it up here like this and just eyeballing it. I think, you know, that's close enough. I really don't know how to check the angle. I'm just gonna probably tack this one once we get it close, and we'll tack and lay them down side by side, see if we need to alter them. But boy, that was almost some, you want to see a grown man cry, build two headers for the same side. That would have been too good. So anyway, let's see if we can get this going. And I won't bore you with all the details on this. I'll get it all welded up and we'll be back with you when everything's done. All right, that does it. Let these things cool off for a minute and let you look at them and see if they meet your approval. Well, there you go. That's how you weld up a set of drag racing style old school Zoomie headers. Maybe I should say how you don't do it. I don't know. Set these down. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching. That's step one of this project. It's gonna be pretty cool. I can't wait to start assembling the motor, but the first thing I can do is get all this mess cleaned up. It's just filthy. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll pick up here where we left off next time. Hopefully we'll have an update on the Buick as well. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button. We'll see you next time on Race Car Fabrication and Restoration. God bless you. You take care.